Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends, and yeah, guys, today I am finally back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of jirens. So, yeah, guys, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And I know that this series has been stretched out too much, but trust me, guys, it has been really long 1.5 months for me. My exams were going on, the assignments, and the work was simply too much for me to upload any videos for you guys. But finally, my exams are over and I will try my best to upload videos on a daily schedule for you guys. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So yeah guys, without any further ado, let us start the video. But before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video that if you guys are new to the channel and have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me. And yeah guys, I have also put the link of my other channel within the description below, as I have uploaded some videos on it, like what if Naruto was neglected, and what if Naruto was abandoned in the forest of death, and so on and on. So yeah guys, those are pretty good series and do check them out, as I have put the link in the description below. And yeah guys, I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below, so please follow me on Instagram. So without any further ado, let us start the video. So last time we left off as we saw that how Naruto's reputation was spread across the elemental nations. He was the one of the strongest, if not the strongest shinobi to ever walk on the planet of the elemental nations, as the shinobis were scared, as Orochimaru wanted his revenge, as well as Danzo, who saw Naruto as a threat, seeing that he was simply too powerful, and thus in proxy, Minato was too strong as a Hokage. If he wanted to be the Hokage, then he is in the, you can say, against Minato, and that came in the form of Menma and Naruto. Danzo was hoping, just like Jiraiya, that Menma and Naruto would awaken the Kekkei which Naruto seemingly possessed, which made him this powerful. But to his, you can say, disappointment, neither Menma and Naruto possessed that Kekkei, as Danzo was frustrated on it. But they were able to get some blood of Naruto and provide it to Orochimaru, who started to perform some experiments, wanted to see how Naruto became this powerful and what type of Kekkei it was, and he was able to figure out some aspects of it. While on the other hand, the nations were scared of Naruto, so therefore they wanted to join, you can say, in an alliance to destroy Namikaze Naruto as well as Konoha, and did not wanted him to have children. Who knows what kind of monsters those children would be. Naruto was already too much for them, and their business was taking a serious hit. So Orochimaru came to them along with the sand and came to the rock as well as the lightning country, and made the proposal. As Orochimaru demonstrated his new power, he was able to inject himself with the temporary key he was able to make from the blood of Naruto, as he was pretty shocked the amount of power he gained. He felt like as he could take on Madara and Hashirama at the same time and still came out stronger. His body, the body in which he was residing at the moment, withheld from 3 years to at least 30 years if he so desired, in that same body, as he was pretty shocked as he demonstrated his power to, you can say, the cages, as they were pretty shocked and therefore decided to put their trust on Orochimaru, as Orochimaru launched a full-scale invasion along with the help of the lightning Kumo and Aiba, as well as the sand country, as Orochimaru was smirking, looking towards, you can say, Minato and the third Hokage, as both of them were baffled. Orochimaru was simply playing with them. Third Hokage was thinking what kind of monster Orochimaru has become, as Orochimaru revealed the big secret how he obtained this kind of power. He explained that how he got his hand on some of the blood of Namikaze and Naruto. After hearing that, both Minato and third Hokage paled immediately, as Orochimaru revealed that he was able to get a aspect of his power, but soon enough, with this power, he will be able to defeat Naruto and take over his body, and that he will become the strongest shinobi to ever walk on the planet, as he revealed that it was actually Menma and Naruto who provided them with the blood of Naruto, as Minato wanted to refute that, but he had no choice. After all, how it could even be possible for Orochimaru to get even a drop of Naruto's blood? As far as Minato knew, Naruto has never bled ever in his whole life, especially not against some shinobi. Even the S rank shinobis, you can say, coming together would not be able to scratch Naruto. It was simply not possible. So how was it even possible? The only conclusion was that it was by the hands of Menma and Ruko. and that was still mostly in the form of hair and only 2 or 3 drops of blood. And that was pretty, you can say, disturbing. Seeing that how Orochimaru has become this stronger as Orochimaru was going on his rap, you can say, about how powerful he is and the things like that. But hey guys, that was the last part where we left off. Now let us start the video. The invasion was going on the full scale on Konoha as the Konoha shinobis were trying their best to fight off against the invaders, but they were simply too much. 3 nations had come against them and they were caught off guard. And with the shinobis of Orochimaru who also have curse mark, it was pretty, you can say, tiring as Minato and as well as the third Hokage was still trying to fight off against Orochimaru, but his ki enhanced body, he was able to, you can say, react to Minato's teleportation as well as the collaboration jutsu of Minato and the third Hokage with ease, as he was laughing at their weakness and going on and on about his plan to take over Naruto's body when he will be able to defeat him and then so on and on. But it was suddenly all of it came to a halt when a feeling of immense power rushed through the village as all the shinobis looked upward into the sky as a red fiery aura engulfed a single person that was floating within mid-air, as it was none other than Naruto, as most of the Konoha shinobi had smirks on their faces knowing that now it was all over, while on the other hand you can say the other shinobis were wondering what they should do. After all, they know the reputation of a single triple S rank shinobi in the bingo book. As Naruto looked towards them and he put his hand into the sky as a beam started to gather in his hand and then he launched it as a small ki blast rushed into the sky and then came down like the rain itself as they started to follow against the shinobi which did not have the symbol of Konoha, as the shinobi quickly realized that those things were coming for them, so they ran for their lives as they tried to distract the beam, but they were following it just like the Majin Buu attack in the, you can say, Dragon Ball's Super Buu attack, as all these beams were following the shinobis. As Naruto looked towards Orochimaru as he raised an eyebrow, he knows that how they took his blood. After all, he was the one who allowed it because he was intrigued what his dear little sister and brother wanted with it, and he was pretty surprised when he saw that Danzo had it, who sent it to Orochimaru. After all, Naruto wanted a challenge which could excite his blood, pump his blood, and make him excited. But it seemed that Orochimaru was able to harness a bit of aspect of his power, though his ki was not as powerful as his own, nor it was as wide. And it was a lot more corrupted, not unlike his own. It seemed that Orochimaru did not understand the concept and the aspects of the ki itself, so therefore he was not able to harness its power properly. And thus, you can say, making it a lot weaker, but not to simply shook his head. At least he will be able to hold back a bit and you can say fight as well. So Naruto launched himself toward the barrier as Orochimaru was wondering what he's going to do. Now, since Naruto was here, after all, his plan was to use different tactics to tie him down and then defeat him. He was hoping that his newly advanced power would be more than enough to take down Naruto. After all, his years of experience and multiple techniques should be able to get him a upper hand on this scale. So he was more than ready, confident in his power to take him down as he quickly go through Hansan before Naruto could launch himself toward the barrier as 2 coffins rose up as the first and the second Hokage quickly came out of the coffin, shocking Minato as well as the third Hokage as Orochimaru gave a signal as both the first and the second Hokage rushed towards Minato, and you can say the third Hokage as Orochimaru prepared himself, powering up his ki to maximum as Naruto launched toward the barrier, shattering it on impact as he flung towards Orochimaru as Orochimaru smirked as he launched himself towards Naruto as both of their fists clashed against each other as a shockwave erupted from the, you can say, fist and shattered the whole building in which they were standing on, as the third and the fourth Hokage along with the first and the second Hokage quickly jumped to the next building and started to fight against each other. After all, it was a battle of the Hokages, the first and second versus the third and the fourth. As Orochimaru was smirking, well, Naruto-kun, it seemed that we have met again. After all, I wanted to meet you for a really long time. As Naruto looked towards him, So you're able to harness a bit of my power, huh? Well, that is interesting, Orochimaru. You tell me, how did you get that power to begin with? As Orochimaru smirked, well, what can I say, Naruto-kun? I am rather resourceful, but that is beside the point. Do you know how I get it, huh? You want to know, huh? Well, it was thanks to your DNA sample, a bit of your blood, as well as some hair samples. I was able to extract that intriguing bloodline of yours and able to merge it within myself. And now I am the strongest shinobi to walk on this planet. Huh, even stronger than you. You may be powerful, that bloodline may make you powerful, but you do not have the experience which I have. Of 40 years, I am the most powerful shinobi, and with this bloodline, which is even stronger than the Mokiton, as well as the Sharingan, I am the strongest person. As he was laughing, but then he heard a chuckle as Naruto was not chuckling. He had an amused look on his face. Well, Orochimaru, I must say that you are really powerful, even stronger than the first Hokage. Even I must say, as he looked towards Hashirama, he could feel the concealed power of Hashirama. It was powerful, but it was nothing that he couldn't handle. After all, 1% of his power should be more than enough to take that person on his full power. But he looked towards Orochimaru. But trust me when I say it, you do not understand that power. Only I know what kind of power it is. And trust me when I say it, you only have a drop compared to my ocean. As Orochimaru smirked, is that so, Naruto-kun? So why don't you show me this ocean of power of yours? As he launched towards Naruto with a Kusanagi in his hand, powered up by his ki, as he flung towards Naruto, ready to show him his power. As Naruto smirked, he will play with Orochimaru a little bit as Naruto put his finger towards Orochimaru as a reddish aura engulfed his finger as he clashed with the Kusanagi with a single finger as Orochimaru was shocked. How is this even possible? No. As he gritted his teeth, he will show this brat his new power as he flung his Kusanagi, putting more and more ki into it. But to his utter shock and frustration, Naruto was blocking all of his attacks with a single finger as he smirked towards Orochimaru, who gritted his teeth. As suddenly a beam of white light rushed towards Naruto as Naruto looked back towards the cave as he flung his hand and simply slapped it away as it was none other than the attack of the Tsuchikage who was floating in the mid-air. It seemed that the Tsuchikage was able to get rid of his ki blast which was following him all around the sky. And now he was targeting him with his death release technique. But unknown to Naruto as well as many of the shinobis that were present here, Akatsuki was also making their move. They wanted to get rid of the thorn that was known as Naruto, so they wanted the next best person who might know something about this guy. And it was none other than Itachi Uchiha. After all, he was a sensei, so if anyone were to know the weakness of Naruto Namikaze, then it has to be Itachi Uchiha. So you can say all the remaining members of the Akatsuki, after all, Naruto has killed many of them, but now searching for Itachi and they have finally found him. And it seemed that Itachi had just fight off against the, you can say, Raikage, and he was limping a little bit, but still in the battle. As Itachi looked toward the members who has, you can say, black cloak with a red cloud on it. As Itachi cursed under his breath, his day got a lot worse than it was previously. As now, Itachi has to fight off against multiple ethnic shinobis now. As he looked toward the place where Orochimaru was fighting off against Naruto, it seemed that his student has his hands full at the moment. He would have to take care of it as multiple shinobis landed beside Itachi, ready to help their comrade. As the Akatsuki members smirked at that. While on the other hand, Naruto was now looking towards, you can say, Orochimaru, who had a, you can say, frustrated look on his face as Orochimaru started to get his hands together as he smirked. Well, Naruto, it seems that you are stronger than I expected, but allow me to show you my superiority against you. As he started to power up, his dark energy started to come together as sky started to get darkened as Orochimaru's eyes were shining with power as dark ki started to gather in his hand as he said, "Behold, the snake." The snake wrapped as he released the beam towards Naruto as a, you can say, art light consuming dark energy rose towards Naruto, who was now looking towards the beam attack with a smile smirk on his face as the attack collided with Naruto as a gigantic explosion take place, as many of the Konoha shinobis were now looking toward the place wondering what was actually going on there, because they knew that Naruto was far stronger and therefore that attack is not gonna hurt him much. As Orochimaru was smirking, that attack should weaken him at least so that he could perform his ritual and therefore take over his body as quick as possible, as he was more than ready to see the injured and bleeding form of that arrogant brat. But to his utter shock, as the only thing he saw was Naruto's hand extended like a palm towards the attack, and not even a scratch on his hand as well as his body, as Orochimaru was beyond shock. He was more than sure that his new power should be able to take care of any nuisance that was there, and therefore should be able to at least weaken him so that he could perform his technique and therefore take over Naruto's body as quick as possible. Naruto looked towards Orochimaru. You know, Orochimaru, I was expecting a lot more. After all, you had my blood and my DNA sample, but this is all you could get. Huh. Well, that was rather disappointing. It seemed that you're not as genius as you thought you were, as Orochimaru gritted his teeth, coming out of his shock. How dare this brat to talk about his genius? He was once in a generation genius, everyone knew that, and no one was greater than him. He was Orochimaru, he was one of the but before he could complete his thought, Naruto was now in front of him with a, you can say, palm to his face. You're boring me. As Naruto flipped his finger and Orochimaru was launched like a rocket slamming into the Hokage monument with a, you can say, gigantic force, making a large crater in it. But before Orochimaru couldn't understand anything, his face was grabbed roughly, and just like that, he was, you can say, forced, his face was forced into the mountain, and just like that, Naruto flew toward the sky as Orochimaru's face was still planted into the mountain, and Orochimaru was now screaming in pure utter pain and agony. Something was wrong, as Naruto was cancelling out his ki somehow, therefore making him weak as he was before, while only using chakra. As Orochimaru wanted to scream, his face was completely scrubbed off as Naruto once again launched him towards the ground, as Orochimaru slammed into it roughly, as Naruto looked towards him with a bored expression on his face, as Naruto simply shook his head. You really didn't understand the power, didn't you, Orochimaru? You are too, you can say, impatient. As Orochimaru stood up, what are you talking about? How did you cancel my ki? What is going on here? As Naruto simply shook his head. I did not cancel your ki, Orochimaru. It is just that you did not understand my power. Just like chakra, this power also has, you can say, something something to empower it, but you did not understand it. You were too impatient in your haste to control this power, and now look at yourself. As Orochimaru was confused, what was this kid talk? But before he could complete that sentence, you can say it, agonizing pain rushed through his body. He felt like molten lava has filled his body as he screamed to the heavens. As he looked towards his body, as red veins were rushing into his body, turning it to utter black. It was destroying his body to the molecular level. As Naruto simply shook his head. That body is not yours, isn't it, Orochimaru? And it has reached his limit. You thought that you powered this body with your ki. While it was true, and if you had understand the power itself, you could have made it your own. No, but no, you did not understand it, and therefore that power is corrupting. You did not provide it what it needed to empower itself, and now therefore he's simply taking it. As Orochimaru tried to control his body, tried to control his ki, but his ki was like a tsunami. It was like a bursting volcano. It was not to be controlled. And just like that, he screamed for one last final time. The power which he envisioned, the power which he desired, the power which made him even stronger than Hashirama Senju was the one which killed him. And just like that, Orochimaru burst into an explosion on the top of the, you can say, the other side of Konoha. as a large area was consumed by that explosion and nothing was left behind. Only the solidified form of Orochimaru turning into a rock as Naruto simply kicked the rock, shattering it into pieces. It was just like the explosion of Vegeta in the Majin Saga. And the key, just like chakra, requires for one to control it and calm mind and all that meditation. Just like to control it properly, to use it the way Goku and other characters could actually use it. Not just you can say power it temporarily and things like that. You understand, right? But anyways, as Naruto simply shook his head, he had his fun, but Orochimaru was also boring. It seemed that he has to end it, but then he sensed something. The chakra signature of Itachi was going down rapidly as he narrowed his eyes as he vanished from the place. As he arrived to see that as Itachi was panting hard, one of his eye was bleeding, the Mangekyo Sharingan, and one of his eye was no longer there. It seemed that his sensei was forced to use Izanagi. As he looked towards to see that all the Akatsuki members were remaining behind, like Pain and all the other characters. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, as Pain also narrowed his Rinnegan, he had more than enough of this bullshit. He's gonna defeat this person. After all, he was a god. He had a Rinnegan. So therefore, he should be the one, the strongest one to standing behind. As he glared towards him, he was more than ready to end it and take the nine-tailed Jinchuriki by force. So he launched himself towards Naruto by releasing Shinra Tensai, as well as all the other remaining Akatsuki members also lunged towards Naruto. As Naruto looked behind Itachi and sharing some of his ki with Itachi, healing him up, just like Goku did with Frieza on Namek. As Itachi stood up, still you can say pretty injured, as Naruto gave him a look, as Itachi nodded and jumped back, as Naruto vanished from the eyes of all the person, even the Rinnegan. As before, you can say the gravitational force were to hit Naruto, as Naruto tear it apart by coming in front of the Pain, as Pain's eyes widened. But before he could understand anything, a key of you can say immense power was placed into his chest, and just like that, his whole body erupted into an explosion, destroying it utterly. While on the other hand, far away, Nagato's eyes widened. His strongest part was destroyed like nothing. As Naruto grabbed the sword of Kisame and squeezed it tight as Sword tried to absorb his chakra, but his ki interfered and it screamed in pure utter pain and agony. Did not understand what kind of power this was, and by consuming it, it was his own downfall as the sword simply screamed and burnt it into a crisp as Kisame did not understand what was going on here, but it was too late as his head was you can say severed from his neck, and just like that, both of his halves were destroyed in an explosion as Naruto once again vanished. All the Akatsuki members at this point understood that they were fucked. And after you can say 1 minute, all the Akatsuki members were simply dead. Obito tried to use his technique, but Naruto had already seen it traveling between the interdimension space. But he was more than ready to face it. His immense power and the speed was able to allow him to travel across the dimensions. After all, whenever Obito opens his portal, that space where it was opened, there was a small window which was still left behind into another dimension where Obito was residing at the moment. When Naruto used his power, he was able to force his hands to move at such a speed that he was able to extend that small window in that space to enter into another dimension by force. So it does not matter if Obito was traveling into another dimension, only a single punch was enough to connect, and just like that, Obito was launched into a mountain with such a speed that all of his bones were shattered. Even the Hashirama cells were not enough to save him at that point. That single punch was enough to completely kill him, but he was forced to use Izanagi as he came once again. But he was shocked to see that Naruto was already waiting for him with a extended hand towards his face, with a bored look on his face. He already knew what Izanagi does, so therefore he already has sensed the negative chakra inside the eyes of this person and the uses of the Izanagi. So therefore he was able to sense this thanks to the help of his ki. When Obito Uchiha appeared, Naruto had a bored look on his face. A ki blast appeared from his hand, killing Obito right then and there, not even you can say wondering who the guy actually was. And just like that, Akatsuki was simply no more. As Nagato, thanks to all the stress that was going on, was finally dead. As Naruto finally appeared where Conan was, as she was glaring towards him, this person has destroyed everything they have worked for. Yahiko, Nagato, they died because of, you can say, they wanted to achieve peace. And this guy has killed Nagato as well as she launched herself towards Naruto, ready to do anything. After all, she knew that she could not kill him, but still, she will try her best. But Naruto did not have the patience for it. But before he could say anything, black flame completely engulfed Conan as she screamed in pure pain and agony. As Naruto looked back to say Itachi, as Naruto simply smirked, huh, I should have known that you would never be left behind, huh? As Itachi simply smirked while still gripping his eye, as Naruto simply shook his head. As they walked towards Nagato, who was already dead, as Itachi speak out, Naruto, those are the renegades. I think that we should keep them. After all, they are really powerful. If not the strongest eyes, even stronger than the, you can say, the whole Mangekyo Sharingan. As Naruto is an eyebrow, he did not care much about the Rinnegan, but he knows about it, so he simply nodded. So Itachi quickly grabbed it and used his, you can say, summoning jutsu, the crow summons, which only Itachi Uchiha possessed in the whole world, to, you can say, reverse summon those eyes into the world of the crows, so therefore no one could get their hands on them unless Itachi wants them to. As they simply nodded and finally arrived back to see that the third and the fourth Hokage has already sealed off the first and the second, and the third Hokage was simply dying on the ground. He has used too much chakra and therefore his body simply cannot, you can say, contain it, and he was finally dying. As Naruto finally arrived to see that his father was kneeling in front of the third Hokage who was taking his last breath, as Naruto knew that at this point nothing could be done for the third, so they gave him their respects, and third Hokage was finally dead. As Minato looked towards Naruto, what about the other shinobis? As Naruto looked back to say many of them were dead, and some of them had ran from the village, as Naruto had ordered his key signatures to not attack them if they were to leave the village. After all, they were needed here. As Naruto explained the situation at that, the Tsuchikage, who was already, you can say, far too injured after fighting off against Kakashi and Guy, was fighting off against the Raikage after Raikage attacked the Itachi and Itachi was able to tire him out. The guy arrived after opening the 7th gate and was fighting off against the Raikage. Since Guy was training with Naruto for a really long time, he was a lot stronger than his canon counterpart. As Naruto explained the situation, as while on the other hand Kakashi has forced the Tsuchikage into his Kamui dimension, well, at least its lower half, and finally the Tsuchikage was dead. As Naruto was explaining it, and suddenly Itachi moved back as he activated his eyes as he was listening to his little brother report, and before he could do anything, a hand pierced through his heart as all the shinobis looked back towards Itachi as Itachi only had one eye in his face. After all, he has already used the Izanagi. As he looked back to say, as it was none other than the panting Raikage, anger and fury in his eyes as he glared towards Naruto, who was now looking towards Itachi with utter shock expression on his face, as he said, You took everything from us, our business, our reputation, and when we wanted to kill you, you simply did not allow us to kill you, as now this is the price. If I were to lose everything, then you're the one who's going to lose your precious sensei, as Raikage pumped chakra into his hand and electrocuting Itachi's body, as Itachi, who was caught really off guard while talking to his injured little brother, could not understand what to do as he would try to activate Izanagi, but this chakra was messing with his own chakra, and before he could understand anything, his body was simply destroyed. For the lack of the better word, people simply could not understand it. How was this even possible? As Raikage was smirking, he was bleeding all over his body. As Minato was about to flash in front of the Raikage, but suddenly, all Konoha, no, all the elemental nations, there was dead silence in it all, as a presence looped over the elemental nations, as it was the presence of utter death, as he looked towards Raikage with utter hatred in his eyes, as the whole Konoha started to shake as Minato tried to grab Naruto, but a burning red aura surrounded his body as Naruto looked towards Raikage, as Raikage quickly started to realize the predicament he was in, as he barked ordered for his shinobis to leave immediately. But it was already too late, as whole Konoha was shaking with raw, immense power, as Naruto let out a roar of power. Itachi was his friend. He was one of his, you can say, first friend. He was his sensei, even though he did not learn much about chakra, but still, he learned a lot about life itself, as well as the world they live in, as his roar of power. Itachi was his friend, he was his brother, as the power that Naruto was releasing unknowingly. Naruto has put a barrier on his own mind. He was able to use a lot of Jiren's power, but in comparison, it was nothing. It was like 25%, 20%. That amount of power is that Naruto could actually use, but 100% for using it, there was a mental barrier. After all, his power was something that this planet simply could not handle. And in that moment, Naruto did not care. He didn't care for anything nor anyone. His friend, his brother, has died in front of his eyes, and with all of this power, he was not able to do anything. If only he had not played around with Orochimaru, if only he had taken care of these problems all on his own. After all, he was more than strong enough to take down all of these shinobis within a blink of an eye, even the cages, if he so desire. But no, his own boredom was the one which caused this whole situation. If only he had stopped Menma and Ruko for giving these blood samples to Danzo, who in return gave it to Orochimaru, none of it would have happened, and Itachi would have been alive. All of it, the guilt, the anger, the, you can say, disappointment on his on himself, and the rage was more than enough to shatter any mental barrier which he had held on himself, as he let out a final roar as a tsunami of red ki erupted from his, you can say, body and slammed into the sky as the sky darkened, as everything was shaking and being destroyed. Mountains were shattered within seconds, as Minato has ordered his shinobi to run for their lives. After all, there was nothing he could do at this point, as Raikage was shaking in his boots. What kind of monster he has just unleashed, as Naruto looked towards him with utter rage in his eyes as he vanished from the eyes of everyone, and the next moment Raikage was grabbed roughly from his neck as Naruto launched himself into the sky towards a specific direction, as Minato looked towards his son who was flying away at such a speed, but he was able to see which direction he was going, and suddenly realization came to his mind. He was going in the direction of Kumu, as while on the other hand, Raikage was trying to understand what to do, but his mind was not working properly because of the utter fear he was feeling at the moment. This monster was something he has unleashed upon the world, and he does not know how to stop it. But then suddenly his eyes suddenly came to focus, and his face went pale in realization they were in Como, as suddenly he felt fear, not for himself, fear for his people, for his village, as not to look towards him. You wanted to take something from me. Huh. Well, congratulations, you took my brother. But let me tell you, you're gonna lose far too much than your brother. After all, he is here, right? As a smirk came to a dark smirk came to Naruto's face with Last barrier shattered, his personality was also changing as he looked towards Raikage, who was now trembling in utter fear as Naruto vanished from the eyes of the Raikage, as Raikage launched himself after coming to the realization where he was going. He put every inch of lost chakra in his body to power up his speed. He was going toward the office of the Raikage, where Killer Bee was the one who was handling all the situation of the village at the moment, in the absence of his brother, as Raikage finally ran and ran, as he went as fast as he could. He wanted to save his brother, not wanted him to be a sacrifice, but it was already too late. When he slammed the door open of his office, he saw the, you can say, beheaded face of the Killer Bee in the desk, as Killer Bee was doing his casual thing. After all, he was rapping and trying to do some paperwork. The secretary was trying to teach him how to do the paperwork, or at least try to force him into the chair. And in one moment, He was rapping, and in the next moment, his body slammed down into the ground, dead. As the secretary tried to scream, but it was already too late for her as she exploded. As the face of the killer bee was on the desk, as Raikage had tears in his eyes. No, no, as he tried to walk towards the, you can say, body of his brother, but then he heard an explosion happen in the center of the village as Raikage looked towards his village with tears in his eyes. He was turning into rumbles, nothing but dust. The shinobis were trying to fight off against this monster, but nothing was working. As Naruto was in a blind rage, he was going on a rampage. Nothing could stop him. He did not care who these people were, innocents. No, he did not care. Shinobi, civilians, all of them, they are supposed to die, and the last person who he will left behind, or rather kill in a most brutal way, would be the Raikage, as Raikage launched himself, trying to save people, trying to go into the side of that monster. But it was already too late. Whenever he reached to the position, he was already gone, and the other place was being destroyed. He tried, he really did. But he was already too late for the person who was supposed to be the second fastest shinobi. He was a lot slower whenever he reached the position where Naruto was previously. Naruto was now on the other side of the village, and that side where he has arrived is already destroyed. Nothing could be saved there, not even, you can say, the houses. As Raikage saw in front of his eyes the village which he fought for, the village he swore to protect, turned into nothing but rumbles and dust. As he was now on his knees crying, he was unable to save. As the Raikage was unable to save any of them, all of it was destroyed. And now that monster who was now flying into the air, see Raikage, I could take more than what you could ever imagine. And now, as for you, see, look around. These people you swear to protect are all dead because of your arrogance, because of your greed. You took someone from me, then I took something from you, which is everything. As he looked toward Raikage, and it's about time that you join your pathetic people. As Naruto put hand into the sky as a gigantic ball of red energy started to gather in his hand. It was big, like Odama Rasengan, even bigger than that, in the shape of the spirit bomb himself itself. As Naruto released the attack, as Raikage did not even resist it. This was all because of him, because of him, because of him. Those were the only thoughts that were going on in his mind. And just like that, the village of Kuma was engulfed inside of the ball of energy, and nothing, not even the ashes left behind of the village hidden in the clouds. Same fate occurred inside of the village of Aiwa. Seeing that, San Shinobi, after realizing that their village leader has left, is not here, and they were duped, decided to cut their short, you can say, losses and ran from there. After they realized that Naruto Namikaze was here, but only the Aiwa and Kumo Shinobi kept fighting, kept pushing. So Naruto blamed both of these villages most, and the same fate of the Kumo fell upon Aiwa, and within a single day, both the village hidden in the rocks and the village hidden in the cloud were simply no more. While inside of Konoha, after Naruto left, Minato quickly ordered for the things to get in order. The council meeting was, you can say, once again summoned, and the council was not exactly happy about this whole situation, so they demanded answers. How was this even possible, as Minato was forced to put Menma and Naruto outside of the Ninja Academy, Ninja system, and put them to, you can say, for evaluation and things like that to appease the council at the moment. The death of the third Okage was simply too much for many shinobis, and they were not exactly happy. So they blame Orochimaru, but Minato explained that Naruto was the one who took care of Orochimaru permanently. So they were a lot happy, as well as the shinobis. But after some time, the news about the fall of Kumo appeared, shocking the council, as the council were really shocked as they looked towards Minato for the answers, as Minato already knew something like that could actually happen after seeing the anger of Naruto, the rage in his eyes. The death of Itachi has really, you can say, took a number on Naruto, And while on the other hand, you can say the news of the Aiba also arrived as this surprised Minato. After all, he did not thought that Naruto would blame Aiba for that. He really need to have a chat with Naruto as quick as possible before the elemental nations fell by his hand. Who knows what he's thinking at the moment. While on the other hand, the Uchiha clan was grieving for Itachi Uchiha, their prodigy, as they never thought that there would be someone who would be able to take down Itachi after how powerful he has become. Even when they were told the Akatsuki intervened and all the things were revealed, even the dead body of Obito Uchiha was found, the masked man, as Minato was shocked to see that. While on the other hand, the Uchihas realized that this was Obito Uchiha, one of their own members, as they were grieving for this whole situation. As after some time, the news of the fall of when Kumo went to the Uchiha clan, they enjoyed, they were more than happy and approved of the actions of Naruto. And after all, their prodigy was killed because of their Raikage, so it is only fair that Raikage live in despair and all that. And after, when he's lost everything, even the will to live, then he's killed. That was the proper punishment in their eyes, and Naruto has done them justice. While on the other hand, Naruto was simply looking into the starry sky at the moment. He has, you can say, finally calmed down. After his rampage inside of the two villages, he has destroyed everything. To be honest, the loss of life didn't bother him whatsoever. But there was something. He has finally realized that as powerful as he was, as strong he was the strongest shinobi to ever walk on this planet. Even stronger than the so-called sage of the sixth path. But he realized something, that he was no god. Itachi was dead, and there was shit. There was nothing he could do about it. Even the power of the Rinnegan would not work, since he had thought about it. But Itachi's body was disintegrated into nothingness, and the Rinnegan simply could not bring back someone who was simply no more. And Naruto realized that even with all of this power, he was no god. But hey guys, here I will have this part. But before that, a small disclaimer, as Naruto's power, when he released all of it, felt not across the elemental nations, it was felt across the universe. And far, far, far away from the elemental nations, two pairs of, you can say, dark blue eyes of the Jogan opened. So there you are. But hey guys, here I will have this part. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So for the next part, you guys already know the like goal and the comment goal. Please do comment because it is really important. If you guys give me 60 comments, who knows, I might even upload the next part today. So it is mainly up to you guys. So please guys, like and comment and subscribe. And yeah guys, I have put the link of my other channel within the description below, the link of my Instagram within the description below. So please follow me on Instagram on the other channel as well. So yeah guys, peace.